Hello my friends and welcome to episode 11 of Football Manager 21 Beta Save with Barcelona. Today we have a Champions League game against Hertha Berlin. It's the first knockout round that we've come into. Now this is a big jump from the last episode, so I'm going to run through the results very quickly. I'm not going to go through goal scorers, I'm not going to go through how games went because realistically I can't remember some of these, and I also want to apologise that this video wasn't out on Sunday, it's now out on Monday. It's literally 10 o'clock on Sunday right now when I'm recording this. This is me just hit this record point, and I've been playing pretty much constant. I could have picked a video, a point, in the middle of January and got it up for 6 o'clock, and then I was like, do you know what, it's not a January window review. And actually it turns out we don't have a January window really to review because there was no ins, there was no outs other than loans. So it would have probably worked out anyway, and I overthought it basically, so sorry guys. It does mean that this will run in tandem with the Rangers series, which should come out tomorrow as long as the main game does release as planned on the 24th, which is tomorrow. So next episode will come out hopefully at 6 o'clock, and then the Rangers episode will come out sort of kind of whenever, but I do want to wait for the main release data update to do that because I'm told there's a few changes in Scotland in regards to that, so that's why I want to hold off. I think the last couple of years I've started on the beta with that save, but I don't want to do that this year for those reasons. So since the last episode we lost 2-1, no, we lost 4-2 to Man City, then we beat Bilbao 3-1, we then beat Getafe 5-1, 2-1 against Eibar, lost 2-1 to City, 3-1 win against Valencia, then a 2-1 loss to Sevilla, our first domestic loss of the season, 4-1 win against Rapid Vienna, 4-1 win against Gujan, 4-3, and I remember this was an absolute cracker. We saved the 95th minute penalty to win this game, Fatty scoring in the 92nd minute, and then he went up the other end, got a penalty, and we saved it to win. It was a crazy game. 4-3 against Atletico Madrid. Leganes was 3-0, Krasnodar was 6-1, Vigo was 3-0, Levante was also 3-0. We then had the Super Cup as we went into January. We won both those games, beat Real Madrid 4-3 on extra time. A hat-trick from Gabriel Barbosa, and actually realistically we were on top, then they were on top, and I think we went 1-0 up, then they went 3-1 up, and then we got back into it, obviously got it to extra time and won in extra time. We then played Villarreal. We were 2-0 up with about 10 minutes to go and we drew this game. Very frustrating. We then played Oviedo in the Spanish Cup, rotated squad, 4-1 win, happy days. Then Pamplona, and again we were 4-1 up and we started to show, and at this point I'm starting to think there's issues here, maybe in regards to the tactic. It does seem to be evening out a bit. There is the odd game where it's like this, but I'm not quite sure what's going on, but that was a 4-3 win anyway. We then beat Granada 1-0, just a simple 1-0, nothing special. Messi missed a penalty. We then drew against Zaragoza 1-1 and went through on penalties in the Copa del Rey. They basically scored their only shot of the game in the 92nd minute to take it to extra time, which was a disaster for us because you can see the fixtures are going thick and fast at this point. We then played Real Betis. We won a 6-3. That was another cracker of a game, and it was one of them where actually, no, it wasn't this game that I'm thinking of, but again they kept coming back into the game, and eventually we pulled away towards the end when they were really going for it. So are seeing a bit more. And I think it was this game, or was it the Sevilla game that's later on, I am seeing the AI, certainly the better AI teams, really coming at us despite being a couple of goals behind. And I think that's why you're seeing these, 2-2s, the 4-3s, the 6-3s, because that's what's causing that. We then played Almira. We won 5-1, that was quite a routine one. They actually went 1-0 up to give us a bit of a shock, and then we went through there. Gavi, I promoted him from the youth side. Bless him, he came on in this game as a substitute, got an assist for, I think it was Haaland's goal, and then decided to start him in this game, give him a proper goal. 47 seconds he lasted before getting injured. Bless him, it's only a 3-week injury, so he's kind of back now, but unfortunately we're starting to get to the point where rotation might be a bit less severe, where through all this period he probably would have got a few games, kind of similar to Nico last year actually. We then played Vallecano, we won 3-0. Before we played Sevilla in the Copa del Rey semi-final. First leg. I didn't realise this was a one-legged tie. Eeks. That was maybe a bit daft to me. A 5-4 win. They were 3-2 up, I think it was, and they got a player sent off, and I just went for it at that point, and then we got to 5-2 up, and then they went very attacking, I went defensive, and they got 2 late goals to really put a sweat on. We held out for a 5-4 victory, however. Gabriel Barbosa hat-trick for that one, and then we beat in the last game Cadets 6-0. Brace from Haaland, a brace from Fati, one from Pedri and one from Eric Garcia, his first goal for the club. Deep breath. And then that leaves the league table looking like this. 67 points, 9 points clear after 24 games. Olmo leading the assist charts, Haaland leading the goal scoring charts. I'm going to call that a win because that is our 2 big January signings. But right now we are going to get pitch side against Hertha Berlin in this first round of the Champions League first knockout round, where we fell last year. We want to get further this year. Let's hope we can. So here we are pitch side. It's almost a full strength team with the exception of Pedri, who is up to match thingy of very heavy. I feel like I've actually rotated him quite a bit, so I'm a bit shocked to see him on very heavy, but I've dropped him out for that reason. Coutinho comes in, but other than that it's Donnarumma, Dest because Mbappe was injured, Garcia, Gomez, Grimaldo, Coutinho, De Jong, Messi, Olmo, Fati and Haaland. I press stop, sorry guys. Does this thing, when you press space to continue on FM, it stops my recording. And it actually continued on that as well, so I don't know what exactly happened there, so I'm just typing up FM EP11. Right, sorry, done that now. That was me just typing that out, so that I know for my notes that I need to put them all together. What I want to talk to you about really is, quite simply put, the January transfer window and why there was no business done. We had one major bid. It was for Frankie de Jong of 70 million. I couldn't replace him for 70 million. So on that basis I said no. That was from PSG. I was looking for about 110 million for him, to be truthful. I could have replaced him quite comfortably with that. Now we did have 70 million to spend, but I'm trying to make sure that anything that we spend right now we're bringing straight back in to the club, because, you know, as we said last season, right, granted finances are looking a lot healthier this season. I think we're still sitting well over 100 million. That was really poor from Dest actually, but it's still not great. I would rather, you know, be building for the future with Barcelona. So that is kind of a factor there in terms of rejecting that. But there was interest in Coutinho, but no nibbles. No interest in Griezmann. Piqué asked to leave. There was 2 bids for him, both from Napoli. He said he wasn't interested in going to Napoli for 1, and 2, they weren't even for £1 million. The biggest of the 2 bids wasn't even for £1 million. Piqué is worth more than £1 million. Now, granted, it would have saved 160 grand a week. Granted, it allowed me to register Griezmann in the league squad, which is another reason that I'm going to go into why there was no business, which would have made things a bit easier. But I'm stubborn. I don't like selling Ansu Fati with the goal, by the way. I don't like selling players for undervalue. I've never liked it, and this comes from managing in, you know, small leagues. So traditionally, you guys know, I'll be managing in Scotland. You need to, when you're in those leagues, you need to get the maximum out of every sale, or at least just, you know, have a plan of, right, I'm getting rid of this guy because he's never going to play, and I can bring in this guy who will play, kind of thing. So you need to be able to do that in Scotland. Probably don't need to do that with Barcelona, but that's kind of ingrained into the way that I play Football Managers, trying to get the maximum out of every deal. So I turned that down. No bids for Coutinho, no bids for Griezmann, as I said. And so then we go into the squad issue. And this is a different issue between the Champions League and the league. In the Champions League we have 1 extra space. We have 24 players registered. So we have a 25th space. We're meeting the homegrown criteria comfortably. We're meeting the homegrown at club comfortably. So that is not an issue. So where the issue comes in the league. We have a full squad, and the difference between these two is, in the Champions League you can register. You don't have to register a player that's under 21 that's through the club system. So for example, Fati's not needing to be registered, Nico doesn't need to be registered, Eric Garcia might, I'm not sure in Eric Garcia, I can't remember. But basically, this frees up all these squad spaces, whereas in the league it's only under 18s that do not need to be registered. So our league squad is 25 out of 25, and Griezmann is not registered. So I'm then in a point where I'm like, right, realistically to bring someone in, we have to take someone out of that squad. Now I don't know the squad rules very well, again I play in Scotland where those squad rules do not exist. They do exist after Brexit, which is becoming a bit of a bug and an issue with Scottish saves. I'm very much aware of, and hopefully they do fix that. And again, I'm not sure in the exact corrections of that, so hopefully that is fixed for main release. But it means that again, I would have to take someone out. That's in more wages sitting unregistered. We've now got Inaki Pena is not registered as well, so we've got 2 players not registered who cannot play a league game in our first team squad. That's an issue, I think. I'm just going to go if I'm pleased. So that put me in a position where I needed to do what I would call a reactive window. I will react to players I sell. Because we didn't sell anyone, because we didn't get the bids or the values or whatever that we would look for, there's no reason to react. So that's kind of where we were. That's why no business was done in January. Nobody was interested in our players, so, or they didn't bid enough to tempt me into the sale in terms of De Jong, or they bid ridiculously low in terms of PK. So simple as that. That's why no business was done. That's why there's no real January window review, because I could go through all the B team players we've loaned out. It's fairly irrelevant. The B team's sitting third in League 2 in the second league, by the way. So they're doing absolutely fantastic. We promoted Gavi, as I said. There was one other that was going to promote, but his contract was due up at the end of next season. And as I said, even though I'm ending this series at the end of this season, I want it to be slightly realistic. So, you know, I renewed his contract. As part of that, he locked in a promise that I had to loan him out, so I had to accept the loan, which is a bit frustrating because he actually would have been a rotation option through that sort of rough set of fixtures where Gavi got the game and got injured. He'd have probably played during that spell, and instead of Gavi. So, but he had already gone out on loan by that point by his demand, and because he locks it in, you can't then remove the promise. It is stuck. You have to make the promise to get the contract signed. Frustrating as it is. And he's actually gone to another Division 2 club who have a lot worse facilities than us. Granted, they're paying good money. I don't care about the money. What I would care about, if I was to do the save long term, what I would care about is the development, and that is not a development loan, realistically. Now granted, if I was at if I was at Rangers, for example, maybe the money would be a bigger factor, but you wouldn't get that kind of money on a loan for a Rangers player. It's not huge money, but you know, it's a couple $100,000 over the 6-month period, plus some of his wages. It's decent money for a small league, not going to even touch Barcelona's budget, to be truthful. So that was a bit frustrating, but again, I had to accept that loan deal. It was as simple as that. And hopefully it goes and has a successful loan deal. Hopefully it works out for him. As I said, we're ending this save at the end of the series, at the end of the season anyway, so maybe it's irrelevant in all honesty, is what I'm trying to say. But overall, the team is, I'm happy with the team. As I said, defensively, right now, I'd expect maybe in the next 10 minutes to see them starting to go really attacking. So I'm going to drop back down to positive here and bring Dest back onto support, because for whatever reason today I have seen a lot more teams going absolutely ham for it at this stage of the game. We're going to bring Fatty off, get him a rest, and we'll bring Messi off as well, actually, give him a bit of a rest for Barbosa, who's been pretty good for us as well, and he's played multiple positions, Barbosa. So the plan for this series now is to sort of run as a secondary series until the end of the season, when this series will end, but I do want to bring this to a natural end. Obviously I've missed a few days through, you know, my mental health and whatnot, and through just not being able to get to record points in this instance. As I said, I could have recorded one in the January, but I expected business. You know, PSG were hounding me for or they were hounding for Frankie de Jong for months before January opened, so I expected them to make multiple bids. The first one came in, the second one never did. Piqué then requested to leave, I expected him to go. Coutinho had interest, I expected him to go, nobody made a bid. Grimaldo had interest, nobody made a bid. Not that I think I would have sold Grimaldo, it would have needed to be a pretty decent sized bid for his quality of player for me to sell him. Oh, that's a frustrating goal to concede. As I said, it's this point in the game where they start to go for it and you start to see silly little goals like that going, and it really frustrates me this past sort of month since January. And I don't think there's been an update between this playing session and the last playing session, so I don't really quite know where this change has came from. Maybe it's just poor performances and we've been riding, I don't know. But either way, I'm trying to adjust to it, trying to learn and go from there. But this is looking like a fairly good result so far, 5-1 up at the minute. So they would need to probably score at least one more to be still in this tie on away goals. But even then, I trust us to go there and score a goal at least. Although Leao coming forward at the minute, he's looking dangerous and menacing. Are they going to go and score again? Because it would be very frustrating if they did. Very frustrating. Coutinho is absolutely knackered. This is a problem that I've had, particularly in the midfield. It's just people having nothing in the tank, and I'm trying to rotate it as much as I can. As I say, I felt like I'd not played Pedri much. He's very high. You can see he's not even got a full heart. Coutinho was on heavy as well, so that shows you that I have been rotating. But I can't just throw, I don't feel like I could throw Nico into this game. I could maybe throw him into the away leg now and give these two guys a bit of a rest. Ideally Coutinho was the one that I wanted to sell because I wanted to bring someone in to go and compete with Pedri and play for that position. I don't think Nico's realistically quite ready for it yet, and Elena's only ever going to be a backup option. To be honest, I should have probably sold Elena. But the minute you transfer a player like that, you're never getting full value for them, so I was kind of hoping he would hand in a transfer request. He never did. So hey ho, is what it is. But I'm expecting maybe another 2 or 3 episodes after this now, because of me extending the time frame of this series and running it till the end of the season regardless. It's kind of taken off the time pressure in terms of that, so we can have an episode for every important game almost. I think we do have 2 Classicos coming up pretty soon, because we've not played a Classico yet this season other than the Super Cup, so I think we go to probably one of them. Yeah, there's one there, and there's one there, so I'll come back for one of these Classicos. I don't know whether we'll go for the first or the second or a Champions League game next episode, guys. I don't go for the Hertha Berlin one because we're 5-1 up. Should be a foregone conclusion. But thanks all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll hopefully catch you all next time.